This is Jonathan Hickman, and you are listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
Unbelievable how quickly we get back on the horse.
I had it in me. Feeling good. Feeling good. Looking good.
That's all that matters.
Right. Yeah. No. It was. It's weird. I'm not having wine tonight. I have a drink specifically for this evening. Originally it was for one reason, but now it's for two. And yeah, so I just and I finally, the past 2 days I was able to sit down and read some books because it was dry over the weekend. So yeah, I'm feeling good. Feeling good.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, we hope you're feeling good as well, because this is 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 1035, and I am Fitz B.
Hell yeah, you are, Vince B. I am David A. Price.
That is, of course, true. And I am Odin, the Allfather. And contrary to recent reports, I assure you, I am not racist.
Wow. You may be Odin, but somehow I doubt it. But you may be. But for our intents and purposes, you're Jason Bood, everybody. Here together. Wait, for who? Who made this possible? CheapGraphicNovels.com. CheapGraphicNovels.com. What else you need to know? Flip it over, look at the retail, laugh, and save money with CheapGraphicNovels.com. You will thank us. That's all we really care about. But for the sake of argument, you will thank us and you will hate us, because that free space that you have in your reading domicile, room / man cave, woman cave, will be eaten up very quickly.
True.
Because you'll be able to order more, so you'll take advantage of the low prices on OGN's trade paperbacks, omnibus editions, DC's finest, Marvel Epic Collections, art books, manga. If it has a spine, it has a home at CheapGraphicNovels.com. And if the Nick and Dent, which is neither, sale wasn't enough, if the rotating seasonal sales weren't enough, there's also a list every week you can depend on of specials.
And it's a great list. And there are times where Max adds some things to it, like what he's been watching, what he's been reading. There's a Baker's Half Dozen on the Slack. But on top of that, I'd also like to spotlight, because this is a blast from the past. We discussed this as a book of the month 1 year for C2E2. I'm talking about Barrier trade paperback for $13.99. From the Eisner Award-winning team behind The Private Eye, Barrier is a shockingly prescient drama about violence, language, and illegal immigration, with a spectacular sci-fi twist. When Texas rancher Liddy and Honduran immigrant Oscar collide on the U.S.-Mexico border, neither can understand the other's words, but both are forced to rely on trust when they're thrust into an unimaginable encounter. Told in English and Spanish without translation, Barrier is a visually stunning, genre-bending story that explores the walls we build between nations, cultures, and each other. Collected for the first time in its original widescreen format and perfectly complementing Image's new softcover edition of The Private Eye, this gorgeous new edition contains the entire Harvey Award-winning miniseries. For Vince, we have
Hi.
DC Finest Sergeant Rock, The Rock of Easy Company, trade paperback for $23.99.
Wow.
He's the toughest soldier in comics and the heart of Easy Company. From the beaches of Normandy to the forests of Europe, Sergeant Rock leads his men through the fiercest battles of World War II. These classic tales of grit, sacrifice, and brotherhood define the golden age of war comics. DC Finest Sergeant Rock, The Rock of Easy Company collects GI Combat number 68 and Our Army at War numbers 81 through 122, chronicling the earliest and most iconic stories of Sergeant Frank Rock and his legendary unit, Easy Company. Created by Robert Kanigher and Joe Kubert, these stories blend explosive action with emotional depth, portraying the horrors and heroism of war through the eyes of ordinary soldiers. This volume introduces readers to the unforgettable cast of Easy Company and the unshakable man who led them. And finally, Liquidator trade paperback for $13.49. A time-traveling fixer chasing an unpublished feminist classic, a servant girl transformed by a mysterious book, and a killer in Gilded Age New York, all bound by one impossible thread. When Aubrey Street arrives in 1891 looking for a feminist masterpiece that won't be published for almost 100 years, she worries that 1981 might be rejecting her. Aubrey is a liquidator. Her job is to fix glitches in time. She just wishes she could fix the glitches in her life. In another part of Gilded Age New York, John Hawksmoor plans to kill a servant girl whose life has been turned upside down by the book she found in her employer's library. Somehow, all their lives are connected. They just don't know it yet. Ellipses. So those are your specials for this week.
I love Ellipsis.
It's so great.
It's just so much. It is.
I use it at work. I use it constantly.
Yeah. And chances are very good to non-existent that you don't use 4 dots.
Never.
Use 3, right?
Gotta be 3.
People that use 4 bother me.
It's like, why do you need a period at the end of your ellipsis?
Thing, like,
right.
Yeah. I already don't like you. So, it's amazing with the period. Cheap.
Indeed.
Yeah, it was a good week, and I am drinking, and I am drinking the same stuff I've drank for episodes and episodes and episodes. The Double Trouble by Charles X. Charles.
Respect.
Yeah, yeah. So one of these days, I'm gonna nail the pronunciation of it. I use that as a form of therapy. Double Trouble. There we
go.
Not bad.
Boom.
What you sipping
Yeah.
on?
No, not a thing. Well, I mean, I just hot tea. Hot tea.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Saving that throat.
Oh.
Respect.
It's
Well, in honor, since he is also a whiskey drinker, in honor of Stephen Colbert's last show and the end of the Late Show, and also I am raising my glass to none other than Simon Brown, the beloved cat of Ryan Brown, who recently passed away. I am enjoying the. This is from my infinity bottle, and for anybody who is unaware of what an infinity bottle is regarding whiskey, or in my case, mostly bourbon, but what you do is you take the last swig, the last shot glass, the little bit of bourbon left in the bottle, you pour that in a decanter, and then your next bottle, you just keep growing. It keeps and it blends. No one's infinity bottles are the same. It varies depending on what you're drinking, how much you're adding to it. So it's ever evolving. And I haven't popped the top off of mine in a good long while. So I decided tonight's as good as night as any. I recently added some mixers to it, so I figured there's enough good shit in there that should make for a nice, smooth and easy drink. And damn it, I was right. I have no idea. I'm supposed to keep a log of everything that you add to it, but I haven't, and so it's a surprise. As long as it's nothing too sharp or flavored with, like, I'm not going to put any Screwball. I'm not going to put any Fireball in this. This is just straight whatever whiskeys I've been enjoying that I don't want to overfill my glass with. Whatever's left over in the bottle just gets tossed into another bottle where they all kind of just mix and mingle together, and it's really good.
Mixing and a mingling.
That's it.
Sounds good. So you have no idea, zero, what it consists of.
I have no idea what amount of what is in here.
Right.
But yeah.
Even if you did know what was in there, you wouldn't know what percentage.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like it's 3 ounces of
yeah.
everything. It could be 8 ounces of one thing. It could be, a handful of drops of another. So yeah, I love it.
Good on you. I know. It sounds like it's something I would do.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that. Yeah. Yeah. Because you're not enjoying it at that point when you have like 3 ounces, 4 ounces left. You're really not enjoying it. You drink it because it needs to be consumed.
Yes, exactly.
And if you put it in another bottle, it eventually will be consumed, but as a main course and not a side dish.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Wow. You've inspired me. If I only had some left over.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to have an infinity bottle when all you drink is like, Buffalo Trace or Maker's Mark.
Right. But if I was a whiskey drinker or bourbon drinker, which I am, but not as much as you. Yeah, it's something to think about. Yep. There you go.
I'm reading.
I read a lot. A lot.
I saw your list. You have been reading a lot. God damn.
Yeah.
My word.
So Jason has a couple of graphic novels, one of which I swear I talked about.
Which one?
Adrift on a Painted Sea.
Did you talk about it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, the mother was a painter. And yeah.
I mean, it may have been an episode you weren't on, but yeah.
I thought it was amazing, but do tell.
Yeah, well, I mean, you definitely could have, because it was originally published in 2024, so that would make sense. Adrift on the Painted Sea, published by Avery Hill, quickly becoming a favorite publisher, doing amazing work. As you just said, it is it's a graphic novel by Tim Bird. Bird is the word, but it is credited as by Tim and Sue Bird because Bird was his mother, and this is a story essentially of him dealing with her life and death. She passed away of cancer during the pandemic, and it essentially the idea for this is, in real life she was a painter, not a famous painter. She just painted as a hobby, as a passion, but she was highly prolific. She painted for all of his life and made hundreds and hundreds of paintings, and basically other than giving away some for gifts or to people occasionally, she basically just had them and had a big inventory. And he decided to take many of her works and lay them into the background narrative structure of this memoir, where he then uses his own cartooning in more traditional sequential panels to bridge her paintings and bridge the story in a narrative structure. But I thought it was really quite delightful. So I don't remember you talking about it, but I'm glad that you did read it. It's a pretty simple story. I mean, there's not like a lot of depth. I mean, what you see is what you get. He clearly thought highly of his mom. He clearly has an appreciation for her pursuit of a passion that wasn't ever about making money or about being famous. She just did it because it just made her happy. and he just takes us through that, like through her work. And I would say that she was, again, in as much as I mean, this isn't about whether or not she was a good painter, but I think that certainly her paintings have. There's definitely an emotive quality to her work, and I'm sure it's helped by the way that this is framed, and that he helps pull that out of the paintings because of the way he's telling the story. But I think if her paintings were like just trash, I don't know that the book would have been very good. It would have probably felt a little more, slight and too personal. So yeah, this is the first time we've seen something like this. There was a book a few years ago, and I'm trying to. I know it was Fantagraphics. I talked about it where another similar thing. A woman they were using her paintings as the backgrounds, and then they were drawing in different like characters throughout the paintings. I believe it was a cat. I can't think of the name of the graphic novel right now, but I think this idea of meshing different mediums is always appealing, and I actually wish we saw more of it. Now it has to be done with deft hand, and in this case, I think credit to Tim. I think he does a really nice job pulling it all together. And yeah, so it's a pretty small book. I think it's 85 pages.
Yeah,
and it's if anything, I would say if I have any critical take on it, it's just that I think we get an emotional sense of who his mom was, but because of how short the book is, we don't really fully get. I didn't come away with great insight as to who she was as a person and or what they were all dealing with as she fought cancer at the end and passed. But I don't know that we needed to, because I think he conveyed what he wanted to convey, and I think he did it successfully. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I think the book was more for him.
Yeah.
It was for us. Yeah, it's amazing when we have a parent that likes something beyond, likes the unexpected. Like my mom had more or less consumer tastes. She loved Engelbert Humperdinck and that kind of stuff. But my dad, who was a truck driver, loved Pavarotti.
Oh,
nice.
Okay.
And it's just like I can see him sitting there in the chair, smoking, listening to Pavarotti, thinking or saying, "This man's voice is incredible." And it's just like, you're a truck driver. You really, I know I'm pigeonholing, and the problem is mine. But did you check with the truck drivers guild before you decided on Pavarotti? Because it doesn't seem right to me. And we always have, hopefully, one parent that reaches higher than we think they're going to, and that was my dad. Yeah, he loved beloved Pavarotti.
That's
Nice.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a friend
So,
who, I'm sorry,
no, I've been son.
he was an old man. He was an older man, and his son would drive him around, and they would have they were running. They had a business, so when he had to go pick up supplies and whatnot, his son would drive, and the old man's name was Vince. Funny enough, Vince Force. Actually, he was my old super when I lived in Mount Vernon. But and his son's name was Brian. But depending on, and Vince always knew what type of ride he would be in store for, depending on what music Brian was going to play in the car. And if he was going to be playing jazz or something smooth, he'd know that it's going to be a nice, easy, leisurely drive to Jersey and back. But if his son was playing metal, then he knew he'd have to buckle in and probably hold on to the ocean handle.
The ocean handle. There's nothing break on that side. Nope. It's amazing the stuff you deal with, but Such is life.
C'est la vie, c'est la vie.
There you go.
So, Vince, we decided to. Well, you decided, and because of that, you kind of forced me to reminisce a little. Well, I was able to reminisce, thankfully. But sort of a faux nouveau kind of fanzine flashback, sort of, kind of.
Oh, we're starting with that, huh?
Well, we can start
We
with
didn't start
that.
with it.
And then
We started with Adrift. Let's see. So
I figure we can clear our plate early.
Subtitled this A Tale of Two Fancies. Because one is really great. I had a ball with it, and it boggles my mind that they give it away for free. For free, it's a giant format. I'm
you guys going to tell people what you're talking about?
No, eventually, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's a giant format with full color, glossy ass cover, thick stock. It's really amazes me that they can give this thing away for free, because not only does it have interviews, it has comics as well, sketchbooks, no top that I can see, no top lists, which is why I love Blitz, Blitz. I believe it's a Canadian zine.
Yeah.
That it's free, but the postage is ridiculous. The postage for 2 issues. The first focuses on GMO food, among other things.
Nice.
Yeah. The official magazine of independent creators. The second focuses on Denis and other stuff. Like I said, there's comics, there's the back cover is illustrated, there's interviews, GMO food. The editor-in-chief is Ramon Perez.
Oh yeah, this is Ramon's raid thing.
Oh, the
yeah.
raid stuff. Yes, that's
So-
why. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
So,
Okay.
like I said, there is profit to be made, but you would not know it, judging by the creators, the content, let's say, because it's fun. The comics are all over the map, but they're all at least good. Some are bordering on great. I'll let you be the judge of that. I am in for the duration of Blitz because I think it is really good, even if it is an arm for Ramon to make money. That's the other zine is comics, exclamation point, the magazine. And I read issues 1 to 3, most of the content. It's not that good.
Now, before you go further, it is worth acknowledging that many people in our circles of influence seem to adore it.
I know.
No, I'm saying as a caveat, because it does seem
Right.
like your mileage may vary. There are plenty of people that do seem to be liking it, but yes, I think our collective view is as follows.
They both like Wizard. They seem to like Wizard magazine because comics, the magazine, could be called Wizard. If
It's basically a Wizard love letter. Yeah.
Yeah, if it had a collectible card or an ash can bundled with the magazine, it would be Wizard. There are top 10, 20 lists that change with every issue. There's a price guide. As soon as you see a price guide, run screaming in the opposite direction, because they're telling you what to pay, what to buy, what to read, what to enjoy. It shouldn't. It should be an organic thing where friends sit back and are banter about comics over wine or whiskey. It shouldn't be a Wizard clone where I gotta call out our boo Tony, because Tony Fleece and Tim Seeley are front and center in this thing. They go bin diving at various stores, and it's like, Tony, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now, whether or not Tony's making any money from this, or he's subsisting on the free advertising, which is basically what it is not the point. The point is that if you enjoy comics, the magazine, more power to you. I did not. I found it very difficult to get through it. Where Blitz with the Z was effortless. The sketchbooks are beautiful. Like I said, the comics are really, really good. It was fun. Where comics, the magazine, Absolute Batman, the Turtles, I forget what else it has, but it was more of a chore than it was a reading experience, and I don't expect to pay for chores. I pay other people to do them. So,
okay.
Yeah. Read Blitz. Thumb through comics to magazine if you like what you see. Again, yay for you. But I did not like it. Did you see it coming out differently? No.
No.
I have a... there's a place in my heart for Wizard magazine, only because of the cards and the ash cans. If you could tell me something I learned from Wizard magazine, I'd be at a loss, because I learned nothing. By the time Wizard got indie cred, because they had that column, I forget who wrote it. It may have been Tony Isabella, but I may be mixing up my zines. They had an indie column in Wizard that would tell you what to read on the indie front. And it was just like, really? Like, I already know that. I should be reading Sandman, because I am. It's really good. There's this book, I don't know if you've read it, called Sandman, that's really good. Like, no shit. I'm being a little bit rough on Wizard, but for the most part, people listened to Wizard until they didn't. Like, I think the reason why Valiant was so big was because Wizard.
Sure.
Wizard told you to buy Valiant, and we did.
Well,
until we didn't.
Wizard also told you to buy what the Seamus's mom seemed to have in overstock at the comic shop.
Exactly.
So this way they could unload things.
Exactly.
I mean,
it was Tom Palmer Jr., by the way.
Tom Palmer.
Palmer's Picks.
Yeah, Palmer's.
Yes, Palmer's Picks. Yeah, I mean, Wizard absolutely served a purpose. It was of that era where, because the image was so bombastic and in your face, that it was it was the kids having fun, and that's fine. And it might be a little painful to revisit some of those issues, regardless of the format, whatever form, whether it was the smaller comic-sized version or the larger magazine eventually. But a lot of the jokes, the puns, they didn't age well. there were. I enjoyed some of the features, like casting the movies, and of course, the Brutes and Babes, and there was a lot to enjoy in the first half of Wizard until you got obviously to the Price Guide. I try to find the silver lining in almost everything that I read, because I don't want to feel like it was a waste of time. I mean, there are times where, yes, it does feel like, well, this is a chore, and I just close the cover and I don't think about it. But thumbing through the issues, I do have a problem with the top 10, because it's not based on a reader survey. It's not based on comments from the readership. It's based on the sales figures. So that's why Eric Canetti was your number one interior artist, where only because Absolute Batman was the best-selling book. So that bothers me. I don't need to know who the artist was on the best-selling book of the month. I want to know who the fans are really feeling this time around. Because aside from Absolute Batman, the Poison Ivy arc, when was the last time you saw Eric Canetti do interiors on more than a couple of issues? So
the fact that Eric Canetti's on a top 10 list is nuts to me.
Considering when you have, and I mean, obviously Canetti is great. We don't dismiss that. But I mean, when you've got like 4 books by Dan Mora, 2 books by Hayden Sherman, you've got so many. You got Jorge Jimenez, and it's just it's odd that in a world where Pepe Larraz is drawing comic books, Eric Canetti would be. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm ragging on Eric. I'm not. It's just it was so blatant that he was on the top 10 because he drew an arc for Absolute Batman. Same thing with Snyder being the number one writer, or Nick Dragata being the number one cover artist, because Absolute Batman sells like gangbusters, and that's great. I'm happy for everybody who works on that book.
Well, I think they're to be fair, those are more legitimate, because I mean, I think Scott Snyder would be on most people's short list of best writers in business, and Nick's about to win the Eisner for best cover artist. So I think those are lesser.
That's fine. Okay.
Weaker examples. Those are. I think that if I saw those 2 on the top of list, that wouldn't blink. But as much as Eric is my boo, and I own about 20 pieces of his art, I understand. I think your point is well made that he.
Yeah.
Given how infrequently he works, I'm with you on that.
Eric's, he's wonderful, but a top 10. With those names that you mentioned, and Data is I don't have to say this, but I'm going to. Data is easily manipulated, right? The fact that the chance that a real life human being sent in, whether electronically or snail mail, sent in Eric Canetti as the number one artist is really, really slim. Really slim. That and a million different other regions. I had to laugh to myself when you were going through the Wizard litany, because Bone Board I hated. I almost never read it because it was what's his name?
Bart Sears.
Bart Sears. And I really could take or leave his work. But you cited all of the things about Wizard that I don't like, And it just...
Yeah, I was never a Wizard magazine guy, because it started publishing in 91. Which so I read the first few issues, but then I went to college, and as I've said many times, those from 92 to 96, the only period in my life where I didn't collect and read comics. So I just never had it just never meant anything to me. So when I came back to comics, I just had no interest in it. Wizard had no hold on me ever. It never meant anything to me.
Well, I'm not speaking for that, but I am. Wizard was one of the things you read.
Oh no, I understand. I'm just saying, I because of the chronological of being how old I was, I literally missed the beginning for the Halcyon era, so it never meant anything to me.
Right.
And I mean, I would have, I did prefer at the time, of course. I mean, I was just of that age because growing up reading Amazing Heroes or the Comics Journal or Comics Interview, like I was drawn to things like the Comics Buyer's Guide, whereas Wizard was shiny and glossy, and it was
Right.
and you were able to, and it was new, and so you were getting, and they were talking about the books that most people were already reading, whether it was McFarlane's Spider-Man or the launch of Image, or so people knew that, okay, well, I'm already reading this. They're talking about books that I'm enjoying. What's not? I'm surrounding. It's like it's like the old message boards. It's like I'm surrounding myself with like-minded people.
This thing is polybagged with a card.
Yes.
And an etch gun. Like, I'm not going to buy it. But when Wizard hit the glass in front of the register, nobody blinked because it was Wizard, But you get the side eye if it was Amazing Heroes, and you'd get the hairy eyeball if it was the Comics Journal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you're a snob. You're it's your pinky out.
And I would take both of them over Wizard in a
100%.
heartbeat.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, a lot of it was me reading Wizard because I was missing Amazing Heroes, and when Hero Illustrated came out, as short-lived as that was, I preferred that over Wizard. It just felt like it was a little bit more mature. It was college compared to high school. So it just I liked Hero Illustrated. And props to the first issue of Comics, the magazine, because they did do a history of fanzines starting from the 60s. And I hope it happens, but they did a timeline from starting from the 1950s or 60s to 2027, and they still have Comics the magazine, coming out in 2027. So I hope that manifests. I really, because I'd hate to see come September or November, and it's like, this is our final issue, and it's like, but you said 2027.
Yeah.
I appreciated the history in the first issue. Wasn't in love with some of the typos in the first issue, but because they were talking about the first Superman Spider-Man crossover from DC, but they called it Batman Superman. I was just like, well, that's not a thing. But yes, and right, yeah, I know. So it's not, but I mean, when you read the blurb, they are obviously talking about this Marvel and DC crossover, and I'm like, well, which one does Marvel own? So, and yeah, Tony was they had a great little they chatted up Tony and Scotty and Kyle Higgins in the first issue, and then and as Vince mentioned, there's now a feature with Tony and Tim, so it's great to see Tony there. But yeah, I just it's a magazine that if because of what Amazing Heroes means to me, if a reader who's just maybe getting into fanzines or wants to learn more about the medium, and they're not, they're tired of looking at a screen, they don't want to read, Wikipedia or scour the internet to find out information, and they have a physical, actual magazine about their hobby, and it speaks to them. I love that. I'm glad it exists. I'm happy that they have something that may be reminiscent to what Amazing Heroes was for me. But it's not. Aside from the occasion, and I've got 2 issues of back issues that I'm that I'm going through at the moment. One about DC from the 80s. One's about it's about team ups. So I'm glad Tomorrow's exists, because that kind of scratches that itch for me. A lot of the newer fanzines are just not. They're not for me. But again, I mean, I'll be 54 in a few months, so I'm not worried about fanzines that are being published today that don't speak to me. I'm fine with moving on. So it's comics is great if you're into it. If you're into that magazine, I'm happy for you.
Well, wait a minute. You are touting the pink unicorn. the new reader does not, for the most part.
Well,
exist.
I don't mean a new. Maybe a new to fanzines reader.
Right. Okay. But there never will be an Amazing Heroes, which was basically the comic journal light. There would never be again an Amazing Heroes. It was just too good.
I don't know if I wouldn't call it TCJ light, only because Amazing Heroes focus was more on the mainstream, was more on the superheroes, the capes and cowls. I mean, yeah, you'd have Cerebus on the cover, you'd have, they'd have Nexus, you'd have, First Comics and Eclipse, and they would talk about those books. But because of Gary Groth, because of how pretentious the editorials came across, the Comics Journal was more for the artiste, ending in an E,
right?
And for those the people who feel that they're above reading the latest issue of Spectacular Spider-Man or Detective Comics.
Right.
So
right. It's Gary Chetzoff.
Right, and yeah, and so they serve two different purposes. You if you're into both genres, if you're into all sides of the comics, then you got these two magazines that are great. But if you, depending on where you fit, one magazine or the other is going to scratch that itch for you. But yeah, I absolutely understand that it's not as Amazing Heroes isn't as intense or maybe I'm not going to say educated, but just a little bit. Well, I like the word pretentious. I'd hold off on calling it the Comics Journal Light, but I can understand why you would get
it. It came out of the same office.
Yes,
that's why. Yeah, that's why I say that.
I agree. Okay, all right.
But maybe I'm growing up a little bit, but the fact that they both are physical, chargeable, tactile zines in a time when the internet is everything, they do have my respect in that manner. They both have my respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you go. I didn't want it, but Tale two zines.
I dig it.
Well, at least one of them was good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What else is good?
Well, I introduced myself as the non-racist Odin, and that is because we got the latest Tiny Onion comic, and it is Odin number 1. I think it's fair to say I speak for you guys in saying that we're all fans of the Norse mythology, both in and out of the Marvel universe, as it were. So let's start with the bad. The cover's an abomination.
It really is a bad.
The cover's an absolute abomination. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the cover. The cover looks like what tattoo artists on Ink Master do when they're pulling stuff from like internet clip art to try and come up with their. It's a horrendous cover. I mean, I was actually legit worried when I saw the cover. I was like, oh no! I'm like, is this gonna blow? Like, is this gonna suck? Fortunately, I do think the cover is just an unfortunate misdirection, and I guess it only hurts the speculators anyway. So fuck them. But this is it's Tiny Onion, so you can guess that Tynion is involved, but it is actually co-written by James Tynion IV and Marguerite Bennett, a name that she continues to make comics, but I feel like she felt like she was more present some years back, so I'm glad to see her popping back up. Because I've always enjoyed what I've read of hers. With art by Letizia Cadonici, which was another big draw for me. Letizia is probably best known as being the fill-in artist on Something Is Killing the Children, and then one of the main artists on the spin-off House of Slaughter. I own some art from her. Met her at New York Comic Con. She is a lovely Italian woman who I think it's fair to say, because look at the book she's worked on, she is very much in the artistic school of Werther Dell'Edera. I think that's exactly why she got those other gigs, because like any good fill-in artist, she pretty much looks a lot like the person she's filling in for. So if you're a fan of that kind of angular, thin, line work, which I am very much, I think her art serves the book well. But what I didn't know, because I saw it was a Tiny Onion book about Odin, and I saw the creators involved. I just ordered it, like as I often do. I won't really read solicits for stuff I'll only read a solicit if I'm not sure if I want to get it. Like if I'm like I need to know more to decide. But this, I was like, oh, I'm going to get this for sure. So I didn't read the solicit, so I don't know how much the solicit gave away what the story was about or not. But since I didn't go in knowing what the solicit said or if it said anything about this, I was quite pleasantly taken aback by the premise of the story, because while it is certainly a book about the Norse god Odin, it's told from the angle of a group of Aryan supremacists who are Odinists. And what's interesting about this is, for listeners who don't know what Odinists are, basically pretty much decades now, it's not like a new thing, but some component of the Aryan, neo-Nazi culture, I guess, is that some of them believe that, with their crazy fucking worldviews, that they are divined by Odin and Norse, Norse, the Nordic people, and that they're that's like the purest of white races, in as much as that makes any sense whatsoever. But it's a real thing, and apparently the idea for this book was born out of Tynion and Bennett talking about this very thing with each other, like on text, like they were texting, "Hey, have you ever heard of this thing?" And that gave them the idea to do the book. But the premise is, we're getting the gang together. We're getting this group of fucking neo-Nazis together to take a trip to the motherland, effectively, because they, and they all have their own reasons for why they want to do it, but essentially that's the setup. And the story is told to us through the lens of an embedded reporter named Adela. She is she's introduced to us as one of the neo-Nazi crew, but she's been embedded with them for 6 months, working for a newspaper to do a story about this group, the Nazi punk Odinists. And so, unfortunately for her, because I think if she knew what she was about to get into, she might not have wanted to be so devoted to being an embedded reporter for all of this. But there is a real supernatural element, and effectively what this book sets up is, what if these lunatic neo-Nazi people that actually believe in this stuff, what if it were true? Like, what if Odin really exists, and what if he is fucking having none of being associated with clowns? And that's kind of what feels like we're going to get in these 9 issues, because they are, when they get to the motherland, if you will, they actually get ported to somewhere, another realm, again, which I'm guessing would be one of the the North, the nine realms, and they have clearly aged. It's been some passage of time. Like, their hair is longer, their nails are long, and I presume there's going to be all kinds of Nordic hell to pay. Hell with one L, and I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. So, based on Tynion and Bennett's political and social leanings, that this is going to be about this crazy group of people getting their comeuppance. This is not going to be in any way celebratory of this world. It's going to be a very bloody and ugly and horror-tinged attack on of them getting what they deserve. So I'm here for it. Thought it looked great. Thought it was well paced. I thought it had a nice cliffhanger, which all first issues should. And I was very, very, very pleasantly. Well, I shouldn't say pleasantly surprised, but I was very, very satisfied. So, what do y'all think?
I was concerned early on, but once Adela's true purpose was revealed. I was like, okay, all right, now and I obviously should have realized that I'd be in safe hands considering the creative team, but
Right, exactly. Yeah, this wasn't
yeah.
like Ethan Van Sciver presents Odin, right? Like,
Right, yeah. I was like, fuck, do I really want to like sit through 9 issues of fucking of these Nazi shits? But yeah, no, it absolutely looks great. I thought I once we once we're on the bus, we meet Fred and things get turned into that freaky little turn, and then we're out in the snowy wilderness. It's I it was one of those situations where like I wanted the next issue. I got to see where we're going with this because I am here for bad things happening to bad people. So I need to see where the rest of this goes because it's World Tree has that to a degree, but not as transparent and in your face as it looks like Odin may present. So yeah, I'm along for the ride. It's the art's fantastic. It's freaky as hell. It doesn't look like they're pulling any punches. So yeah, I mean, well, as they could go harder, but I'm fine with the restraint that they're showing. So and who's to say it's not going to get worse as the issues continue. But yeah, this was it landed for me. I was like you. I was extremely satisfied. I had no complaints with the first issue.
Word, except for the cover.
Except for the cover.
Yep. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
You didn't care for it?
No, not at all. I was bored by it. I thought it was a chore to get through. That's why it's not on my list. I read it. I look at your list and I see what I could read based on what you both read, and the fact that you both read this spoke volumes to me. I checked it out, and I maybe I wasn't in the right headspace, but yeah, I found it difficult to get through. Who doesn't love watching neo-Nazis getting punched in the face?
Yeah.
But for the most part, it just fell flat, like all of it.
I look forward to you in 2029 reading the hardcover and telling us how awesome it is. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I guarantee it won't happen. But
oh, okay, really? you want to die on that hill?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Okay. All right.
Good Lord.
That's funny.
Yeah.
As I see Ultimate Invasion, Ultimate Spider-Man, and the Ultimates on.
Laugh if you will, but Jonathan Hickman is
he's a good writer.
really good.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Rest my case.
There's another book that you both read that I did not put on my list.
Oh,
Absolute Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Damn, you just you got the haterade tonight. Did you didn't buy you triple haterade IPA or what?
I do. I have the hate in my heart.
Oh,
wow, man.
I am curious to know why you disliked it. It's the first Absolute book that I am getting in singles. So it's and partly because we had the creators on the show, but also because it is Green Arrow, and I'm still feeling some kind of way for that Absolute Evil one shot for introducing him and taking him off the board. But Absolute Green Arrow, obviously, written by Pornsack, picture showed, art by Raphael Albuquerque. The colors I'm going to butcher. Marcello's last name, Marcello Maolo. And the first chapter is called The Longbow Killer, and I am impressed. It was weird as hell with this particular Green Arrow's bow, and what it's made, what it's comprised of. But yeah, this version of Green Arrow we don't know much about. Kind of operates in the shadows mostly, and out for revenge, using poison-tipped arrows. But the issue basically introduces us. It introduces Dinah Lance to the Absolute Universe, and she is a former MMA fighter. Right now, she's pretty much a personal bodyguard. Dad is ailing, so everything she is doing is to provide what he needs, and we're reminded that that Hector Hammond is a massive piece of shit, and deserves every bad thing that this Green Arrow may do to him. And it part of it is also Dinah is trying to unravel the mystery behind Oliver's death, and we even see some of the Arrow clan that we're used to seeing, like Mia Dearden and Roy Harper, briefly in still images and like mugshots, but we haven't seen them in action yet. It's a violent issue. It's aside from maybe one panel at the end, unlike other Absolute books, this first issue wasn't so focused on body horror, but it feels, it does feel like an Absolute book, and yeah, I mean, as far as the Green Arrow book goes, we're not hot and heavy with the Green Arrow aspect yet, but I appreciate the build up that we're getting to it, and Rafa looks it's a good looking book. There was the not gonna lie, there was a little bit of concern because of the Superman Unlimited run.
Yeah,
that he
agreed.
had.
Although I was ameliorated because when we had them on, and he takes a different artistic approach to every book and had a different take this time.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, you're going to veer back in the right direction. All right, cool.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And he did. But yeah, it's a solid looking book. I'm a fan of Born Sex writing, so yeah, I enjoyed the first issue.
Yeah, same. I like you said, I mean, we had them on the show, so I kind of felt like we knew we were getting into. I will say that I think in weaker writing hands, this could have been a bit of a mess, because I think that they just went right up to the edge of talky for a first issue. Like, I think it was much more dialogue and setup heavy than action heavy, which, especially for what we've come to know of the Absolute line, felt like I said, I think they went right up to the edge. But a lot of what you said in terms of Raphael's art being on point, the setup, the characters involved, the structure, the guardrails they're putting in place for what's to come, I thought were all of a high enough quality that I like I said, I feel like they didn't go too far with the more talk, less action in this issue. And yeah, I love this Absolute Dinah version. Like, she's almost like a Barda. Like, just a badass ass kicking, big strong woman with big shoulders. I very much like the way that they portray Oliver as this reluctant, billionaire who really had no interest in his money other than giving it away. Obviously, there's a strong socio-political on the nose narrative here, which I think will be well received by the intended audience. And yeah, I'm definitely here for it. I'm with you. I thought they hit the nail on the head with this first issue. So good job to them. And Hector Hammond's in it. I mean, come on.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah. It may have been Vandal Savage for all.
Oh my God.
Well, you don't like Hector Hammond either.
No, I don't. No.
Ah. I
didn't get any of that from it. I thought it was too darky. And that's saying a lot because the things I've read are very talky. But I was just there wasn't anything at the end of the issue that made me think, oh God, I gotta see where this is going. I don't care.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, we all
Yeah,
have our things. I mean, that's how I felt about Absolute Flash. I mean, I just like I didn't want, I mean, and
right.
Spider-Man and Superman. Yeah, I mean, hey, we can't all love every book.
That's true.
Can't. Yeah, you'll have that.
Indeed.
Yeah. Getting to the extremely talky, I I jumped into the Ultimate books because number one, I was sick of hearing how good Ultimate Spider-Man
Yeah.
was.
Yes, far and away the highest rated Marvel book last year on the meta list that I compile.
And I thought to myself, it can't be that good. It really can't. Because
And it isn't.
it is and it isn't. It is because for once, I started with Ultimate Invasion,
Oh, okay.
which is written by Jonathan Hickman
Yes.
with art by Brian Hitch, and Andrew Curry did the inks, and the colors are by Alex Sinclair. The thing you need to know about Ultimate Invasion is the maker, which is Reed Richards of the Ultimate Universe, goes back in time and stops the creation of all of the superheroes, of which Peter Parker tops the list. He is regarded as the numero uno hero, and he stops it, but not being before being imprisoned. But he said he's going to get out in 2 years. So they effectively, they being what comes next, have 2 years to prepare for the arrival of the quote bad guy, the maker, aka Richards of the Ultimate Yo. So I started with Ultimate Invasion. I thought his looked good. His looked more like he does now than he has in the past. So I thought it's not bad. It's not. It wasn't great, but it wasn't throwaway either. You know, I'll read. I'll start with Ultimate Spider-Man, which is again written by Jonathan Hickman, with art by Marco Cicetto of Daredevil fame, and David Messina, the occasional fill-in issue. Colors by Matt Wilson. Everything is predicated on Stark Stain, where they've joined forces and they've amalgamated. I don't know if that's the correct word, but it serves no purpose. They've amalgamated into this corporate entity that is curing disease. Like they're doing good things, right? Peter and MJ are married, and Peter thinks that something is wrong, something's missing. Like he used to be so happy, but there's something awry. Like this is not the way he should be living. He's still taking photos for the Bugle, right? Joan is still the editor in chief of the Bugle, but in this reality, Peter and MJ are married. They have 2 children. An older son, Richard, who reads a lot, and a younger daughter named May, right? This is when you get the Maker going back in time, preventing the creation of the 616. Peter tops the list, but he comes back as Iron Lad and gives Peter access to that which he was robbed, the radioactive spider, and a Stark-stained Pico suit, his father's last project. Like, why? He tells him of the existence of the Maker's Council, a shadow organization who rule the world. And who do you think is at the top of the Maker's Council?
Well, I've read all this, so I don't. I don't want to spoil.
Oh, okay. Wilson Fisk,
Yeah.
the Kingpin. And there's a terrorist attack, quote, terrorist attack, blamed on Howard Stark, in which Aunt May and the Osborns are killed, right? Ben Parker is still alive, where Jonah and Ben one day say, fuck it, let's quit the vehicle. Well, we'll go online. And that seems to be the way people get their news. We'll go online, we'll create something, and we'll only tell the truth. How could we go wrong if we only tell the truth? So they do this digital-only news service that strives to publish the truth, because the Bugle is owned by Wilson Fisk. So you have that Jane Jonah vibe, but not from Jonah. Jonah's actually a nice guy in this series. Amazing enough, like I like Jonah, and MJ's not a hoe. That's what got me. MJ is not. Like, she gives her husband ample time to deal with his problems. What is bothering you? Nothing. Okay, I'll take you at your word, until it gets to the point where, how much can I take? Like, I'm your wife. And eventually, like May finds out first that Peter is Spider-Man. And, little by little, he eventually tells MJ, and she's okay with it. She's like, oh, all right. Like, so you're Spider-Man. I do love man in costume, but the Wilson Fisk is the Kingpin of New York, and under him is Martin Lee and Walter Hardy, who runs the Bronx as the Black Cat, Kraven the Hunter, owns Staten Island, Mysterio, who I don't want to spoil it for you, is Brooklyn. The Mole Man oversees the underground, and Peter eventually meets, and this is the one thing that got me. Peter eventually meets Harry Osborn. Harry is making Fisk's life a living hell as the Green Goblin to avenge his father's death. He strips the Stark-stained suit, he unmasks Peter, and by the way, he's married to Gwen Stacy. So there's that, she's the Oscorp CEO. And I thought it was wonderful. I read all of it, and 24 issues, and I thought, this is the way Peter has a mustache and a beard the whole time. And unlike Johnny, I think it looks terrible on Johnny. It looks good on Peter. Like Peter, yeah. I I thought it was to call it fun is one thing. It wasn't fun. It was well written, well drawn, a little bit talky, but again, it depends on how much you like characters doing the back and forth, because there's a lot of that. There's Peter and MJ. There's Peter and Harry. There's Harry and MJ. There's Harry and Gwen. There's Gwen and Mary Jane. Like, there's just a lot of talking in this book. But if you're a fan of Spider-Man, because there's a component of Venom inside these issues, there's some Shocker and some of the quote golden age of Spider-Man villains, but it all goes back to Sark Stain. Like, there's a reason why Tony is Iron Lad and not Iron Man, because his father was not a nice person. Neither was the Osborns. The Osborns, Osborn Sr. was not a good dude and treated his son like crap. So he uses his father's demeanor as the AI in his suit, where he would act out things that he knows that the father would condemn, meaning they were the right thing to do, because his father would be like, why did you kill him? It'd be just so much easier if you kill him. And Harry's like, well, no, that's not how Peter and I operate. But you should. But you should kill him because he's only going to come back. But that's not how we work. I thought it was fun. It was wonderful. Great comics? Not so much, but really good comics. I'll leave what else I've read for my later appearance. But for the most part, Ultimate Spider-Man is really good. And put it on me, because I said I wasn't going to read it. And once I have, I'm like, damn it, I was wrong again.
All right.
It's really good. Yeah. I think if you've read it, David, I think you'd like it as well.
Okay.
There's really nothing to not like. MJ not being a hoe is
It's a plus, yeah.
is a big plus.
And
in
I
my
mean, and
book.
I like seeing Ben in the early issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right.
There's a lot of cut and paste, but that happens on the non-Chichetto issues. I get it. You know, just because you're changing the mouth or the eyes doesn't make it a new panel.
And Hickman he can tell stories where there's not much. It's deliberate with the pacing, and there may not be much movement from one panel to the next. So I mean, I mean, yes, I would still like to see somebody draw the face, but I understand there wouldn't be much of a change depending on the situation. But
yeah, there is a thing called perspective.
that's true.
That would change, but I get it. Just as a cost cutting and time saving ordeal, I understand why they're cutting and pasting. Again, I will say, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I've said this before about this book, but I think it's a good book. I think the problem is that the fact that it's Marvel's best book and it's a good book is sort of endemic of what's going on in Marvel. Like, I think I think if Marvel was the way it was for a lot of our fandom, this book would just be a book that was in the stack, and depending on how many Marvel books you read a month, you may or may not read it. So,
Right.
So yeah, but no, I don't have any. I will concede that I think of all of the Ultimate books, it is the best one, and it is good. It is not like I don't have any bad things to say about it. I do think though it is pretty talky.
It is.
Talky.
Yeah, it's very talky.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do like Marco, so yeah, you're kind of selling me on it.
Tony loves the sound of his own voice. So
Well, that's regardless of the universe, that seems to be the constant.
yeah. But again, riddled with mom and dad issues. It's like, did no one have a good childhood in the Marvel universe or the DC universe? Come on. But yeah,
I feel like everybody under 30 feels like they had a bad childhood, right? Like trauma bonding is it's like a mating call now.
I know, and it's really not that bad.
It's not that bad, yeah.
No, it's not compared to what.
I was going to say, I was like,
Yes, proof and point. My daughter is a special child teacher, and the parents of said children are required at least once every week or every other week to attend a meeting. Your child is doing well, your child is doing bad, your child is not showing up, blah, blah, blah. They can't even be bothered to attend the meeting, the parents.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Whether it's like your kid's going to school for free, they got a Chromebook, and they're getting from what I can see, a very good education, and you can't even be bothered to, like, I clicked on this, it didn't work. Well, I didn't know why you clicked on that, because the email that we sent you doesn't tell you to click on that. So, stop lying, and you just didn't attend the meeting. I think that's the least you could do. This is neither here nor there, but we didn't have to deal with that as children. Yes, a lot of us, meaning we're shunted aside and put in classrooms where those are the rooms where the special kids go, and there was that, but there wasn't a total disregard of means, right? There wasn't an abandonment of the children. Like, again, I'm talking out of school, so I shouldn't talk. But my point being, we didn't have to deal with a lot of the stuff that contemporary children have to deal with. So,
I mean, yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Do you agree? Do you not agree?
I mean, well, I don't know. I think it's different. I mean, there are billions of kids in the planet. Like, I think what a kid has to deal with is like impossible to like normalize into one baseline, regardless of what age or era. Like, kids have like kids' experiences growing up are not like it's not like a baseline thing. Like, it's like my childhood is different from your childhood. It's different from Daps. It's different from every listener's. Like,
yeah, but we are not okay.
But again, that's a different conversation. Like, what your childhood is and how you turned out are totally different. So I'm just saying, like, I don't like. I mean, kids have had horrible childhoods since humanity existed, and kids have had great childhood since humanity existed. So like I think it's way too personal for me to have any idea about what one person is dealing with and how it compares to something else. So that's all. I don't like. Yeah, I just think it's just impossible to like. I just don't know how you can like. I can't like cookie cutter it. Like not like nobody has like we all have very vastly different experiences as kids.
Right. I get it, but I think at the least you can show up for a 15 to 30-minute video call. Your kids,
sure, but I mean for right, but there are literally hundreds of millions of kids who don't have parents and or don't have a two family like. So the least of their worries is that the parent's not going to show up for a parent teacher meeting.
For the most part.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, you know, it's like,
I get it.
Yeah, it's not generational, is my point. Like that, like that's kind of shit. Like absentee parents and like are not a new thing and probably never will stop existing.
Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
That's right.
Really good.
I will agree with you that I like Peter with. I think he looks pretty sharp.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And MJ?
For once, someone drew a masculine Spider-Man, which is cool.
Well, I won't agree with you. Yeah, I won't agree with that.
Not at all.
No. Who drew the best Peter Parker?
Gil Kane.
In your opinion?
Well,
it's Peter Parker. Interesting.
Yeah. I do like. I like Romita Jr. in the early, during his first go around. Not the later years, not with JMS, not with. So I'm talking about like the introduction of like Hydra Man, like the 220s up through the first Secret Wars, right before he hands over to Friends. I didn't mind Friends' version either. I didn't particularly care for McFarlane's version of Peter. But basically, I mean, everybody kind of built off of Romita Sr.'s version, which of course was a little bit more studly than Ditko's.
That'd be my choice.
Romita Sr.?
Senior?
Yeah, John Romita Sr.
Yeah, I think that's when I think everybody kind of just builds off of that. I mean, even Hurricanes was pretty much a carbon copy of that. So yeah, I think I'd have to say that. I mean, same thing with Ross Andrew. Like they all kind of just modeled it after Senior.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you're
right.
Yeah. Yep. We won't even bother asking Jason because he's.
Well, that's fucking hurtful.
You don't care.
That's not true. What?
Who do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well, I have to say, like, I mean, I agree more with Dap that, like, I don't like McFarlane's because of the giant eyebrows. I feel like so many, like, legendary Spider-Man artists, like, just did a good job drawing Peter. Like, I don't, you know? I mean, Romita Sr. is probably the answer. Like, I don't, I'm trying to think who else, like, I mean,
definitely not Ditko.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Because Ditko drew him as a nebbish.
He's just It's just a nebbishy nerdy little dude. Yeah, scrawny.
Yeah. Romita Sr. drew him as a borderline stud.
Yeah, he's becoming an adult.
And and it's just like everybody followed suit. Romita Sr. was the way Peter was drawn. Whether it be Ross Andrew or Kane or even McFarlane, who I'm
looking at a bunch right now, like a bunch of different. I mean, Byrne drew a fucking great Peter.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know whether or not he was prolific enough to be counted in this, it's
even MJ, Romita Sr. drew the best MJ. The fact that she was a hoe, you know.
Ron Friends is pretty good.
I do like Ron Friends. Yeah, I like this a lot.
Yeah, it's not bad, not bad. Garney's pretty good.
Even
Garney's pretty
Sal.
good.
Sal did.
Garney and
did-
Reinhold, yeah. Yeah, Garney and Bill Reinhold did a good one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Vince didn't say Todd Nauck.
Well, when you have a template that's so vivid, like Remy Sr., you really can't get it too wrong.
Right.
Well, I think Todd in the button nose, Peter doesn't have a button nose. It
Larson
never
pretty
will.
much gave him like a mullet.
Yeah. But he still was handsome
Yeah.
as Larson goes. But yeah, I guess you could say that Ditko drew him. Again, juxtaposition. We wouldn't be having this conversation if
Right.
Ditko drew the perfect Peter Parker. Whether
Sure.
I don't think he did, but it quickly was rectified by Romine Sr. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Even Gene did good stuff. However short with Peter Parker. I think he's one of those characters he can't screw up.
Hard to do it.
No, you're right. You're right. Well, what are we loving?
You're loving the Ultimates, bro.
Yeah,
There you are.
you'll hear more of them.
Good.
Nice. Well, I will say that there's another GN that I checked out that I thought was like more interesting than successful. Like I really applaud the effort, but I don't think it like crossed the finish line. It's called Oracles, plural. It's written and drawn by Olivia Sullivan, also from Avery Hill. It's her debut graphic novel. It's unlike Adrift, which came out a few years ago and is reprinted. This is new. It just came out a couple weeks ago. It's really hard to describe. First of all, like she's a very talented cartoonist. Like I think as a debut graphic novel and the boldness of what she's trying to accomplish here, I think that she's going to probably end up doing some really great things. So I want to be like totally upfront about that. That's why I'm bringing it up, even though I didn't love the book itself, because I think that you could see like some immense talent here. You know, I just think she swung for something that didn't quite, in my opinion, like land, but I think there's still plenty of talent there. And it's really because I think to me, like what she was trying to do was really interesting, and I'll get to that. And her cartooning style is very good, but I'm not sure that her cartooning style lends itself to what she was trying to do. So what do I mean by that? Well, this is first of all, it's like I'm going to have to be a little nebulous about how I describe this book because it is a hard to decipher book. Like it's not like a traditional linear plot. It's very much more of a artistic expression of the things that are going around in her head. There's not, like, as far as I could tell, I didn't come away thinking a clear narrative. So, but from and again, I'm kind of guessing here, but from what I can gather, it's sort of her dealing with, like a personal exploration of things like that she's dealt with in her life, and she's expressing that visually in this book. But like she takes big swings. Like there's like these creatures made of sage. There's like these she calls them like memory mushrooms. There's like psychic whirlpools. Like there's these concepts that are pretty like incredible, even just to speak them aloud. You're like, oh, that sounds really interesting. Like there's a like at one point her, like the protagonist, in as much as there is one, starts having trees grow out of their body in like a body horror type of way. So like there's all these like little bits of kernels where you're like, oh, that's a really interesting idea, or wow, you want to kind of grasp hold of it and just love it and sing its praises, but like where I think the miss is because her style is, to me, evocative of like a Chris Ware, like very structured, like hyper detailed at times, but like very structured. Nine square panels, 4 square panels on a page. Just like very super clean lines, meticulous details. And again, I have no issue with that cartooning style. I've read plenty of comics with that style that I've adored. But I think if you're going to try and do these crazy surrealistic things, right, like mind mushrooms and these cosmic whirlpools and stuff, like that, to me is, at least the way I'm interpreting it, like better executed by someone who can just go crazy visually, and just really be just free with the way that they express themselves and break panel borders and really change the flow of their visual style and use different line weights and different mediums to express themselves. So it just felt like an odd, like talent and great intent, but just like never the twain shall meet, if that makes sense. I know it's sounding like, again, it's really hard to describe this because there's nothing really like to latch onto. There's not a clear narrative. The visuals in and of themselves, if I were just to like put a couple pages on the Slack, like people are like, oh, that's really good art, but then it wouldn't. I don't think the art lends itself to the ideas and vice versa. So I applaud her. I think, like I said, I wouldn't be at all surprised if in a few years, like the next thing she comes out with is an absolute banger, and I'm singing its praises and talking about how everybody has to go and read it. I'm not sure this hit that mark, but I'm excited to see what's to come because I do think she has clear talent. So like a lukewarm, it's interesting. I'm glad to have read it because I appreciate the experience of what she was trying to do, but I can't fully endorse the book because I'm not sure she really did what I think she was trying to do. So Oracles by Olivia Sullivan.
Yeah, I don't think I could say it better. I read it as well. It's decent.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if Anders Nilsson or like, or like,
Justin,
or like, or Simmons or like, or Bellaire or Matt, Allison, like if you take that kind of visual mind and like start working with some of our ideas, you could be like, holy shit, like what is going on? Like this is wild.
I don't think it was explicit enough.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it could have been at least 50% or more longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's like it's like you go back and look at like I'll pick any famous artist now and they're like, oh, here was my first comic. Oh, so I think that's the thing. I didn't come away with this thinking like, well, I don't know what the fuck happened. I came away thinking like, oh, I can see like you can just see her kind of like running up the climbing wall, but just missing the last rung.
Yeah. I agree.
Nice.
There you go.
There was a let's see. So I did read the first issue of Chris Condon's new series, which is illustrated by Charlie Adlard and co-written. Apparently, they're alternating issues. They're Chris Condon and Andrew Ehrich are co-writers, and according to the back matter, they work on the issues separately and then collaborate together to fine tune them. But Chris did issue 1. He's doing issue 3. They're going to collaborate on issue 6. So we'll see how that goes. But as far as the first issue goes, we're introduced to a young woman. Her name is Tabby, and she appears to be leaving a relationship, and she calls the person from a payphone to say, basically, I'm calling to tell you I'm gone. You won't find me. Don't even try. But the dude on the phone, I'm assuming is a dude, isn't pleased with the situation. It looks like she also made off with whatever cash was on hand. And she has a gun. She's holding she's driving around with a pistol, but she is making her plans known as far as that she's leaving homeboy and she's just driving far away. And the first issue, she's I don't know if maybe she's just trying to make things right, if she's trying to get away from something, but she is she's heading to her grandmother's house, and on her way there, she apparently is she's clocked for speeding. She's left off with a warning. The cop, the trooper she's talking to, my man is just standing there. He's talking to her, asking the license and registration. She's saying it's a rental, but she does find the information. He does let her off with a warning, and but as they're having a little back and forth, my man is just moist. His face is dripping with sweat. It's apparent it's extremely hot because she was complaining about the AC not working. It finally kicks on, so she's happy. As she's driving through the desert, the hot sun, a starving dog ends up walking into the road. She does stop in time. Unfortunately, as she lets the dog go by, there's another car who wasn't paying attention and does run the animal over. And she's crushed. She is, and she doesn't, and the dog isn't dead yet, but it's on its way, and she does not want it to die alone. So she's with it during its last moments. Unfortunately, this big ass pickup truck is coming by and just is honking the horn. I mean, he can get off the road, like drive on the dirt, go around, but like it's just making a big deal about it. So she's trying to drag the dog, and then but before the truck starts to move, she begins to put her hand on the on the grip of the gun just to make sure, nothing crazy is going to happen. But then the truck just ends up driving off, and at that point, the animal had already passed. But she makes it to Solitude, which is where her grandmother lives, and to Winter's Ranch, and she pulls in. And there's a big ass truck, not a big ass truck, but there's a truck called with the Fossil Oil Company logo on the side, which she's a little concerned about that. Not sure why why this truck would be parked here, and she's just wandering around the property on her old swing set, things like that. She finally makes her way into the house. Before that happens, though, like the ground rumbles, like a little earthquake. So she's not real sure what the hell's going on. She goes into the house looking for her grandmother. There's a pot on the stove with the fire still going, and the house is just quiet, and she can't find anybody. I'm not going to say if she does find anybody before the end of the issue, but it's a slow burn. It's a for a first issue, it's not exactly meaty. Condon and Ehrich seem to be setting the stage. I don't know how many more characters are going to be introduced, but apparently this is kind of like a desert-bound horror type story, is what Chris is coming up with. But I it don't know how different it's going to be from like that Texas Blood or even the Order of the Dark Phoenix. There's a it and Adlard's art looks great. I mean, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, it's similar, obviously, but it's slow. I don't. I read the image preview, and it stuck with me enough where I'm coming back for the second issue, because I'm curious to know what Tabby has done prior to this, that she's got to get out of Dodge, and that she's got to warn the person who may come on to find her that if he does, she'll kill them. So no idea what that relationship was like. I'm a little curious. But yeah, there's enough here where I'm the mystery is slightly enticing. I kind of want to see where it's going. But yeah, if I don't, I mean, if this was Condon's first book, I don't know if the first issue would be enough to keep me coming back. But based on history, there's enough credit where I'm coming back to see where we're going with this. But it's an interesting setup. It's just it just may seem a bit slight on details or movement. It's very much just a setup. So we'll see where it goes from here. But Adlard looks great, and I'm curious to see where we're going from here.
Excellent. Neat. In order to clear off my some of my to read list, I will get briefly into the Ultimates, which is another. I guess it's 25 issues. 25 didn't come out yet, but I read 124, written by Dennis Camp, with art by Juan Figueri, Phil Noto, Chris Allen, Von Rendell, Stefan Morian, with color art by Federico Blee, Eric Arsenica, and Edgar Delgado, with lettering by Travis Lanham. Sorry. It's a different book than Ultimate Spider-Man, but it's set in the same universe where the U.S. is dead, United States is no more. Long live the North American Union and regional subsidiaries, led by Midas in the White House, who has the original Iron Man armor. The gold armor. Now, remember, the maker subverted history. We have 2 years in which to prepare. The Ultimates go from 1.0 to 3.0 relatively quickly. The roll call being the original Captain America. I won't say how or why it's original Captain America, but it is. Iron Lad, Reed Richards as Doom. Not Doctor Doom, not Reed Richards, but Doom, which says a lot. Jen is the Wasp, Hank is the Giant Man. Thor and his jailer, Lady Sif. Read it. America Chavez, it's in here. And I never paid much attention to America Chavez. That's on me, because she is one of the highlights, to me anyway, of the book. There is a new She-Hulk. Apparently, the Gamma bomb that gave birth to the Hulk was let loose in proximity to an island in which all of the residents were gamma irradiated to some degree. And like a gamma bomb will do, different results occur based on the based on the nature of the patient. The She-Hulk, Lejani, is more like Banner, right? Choni gets, how do I say it without spoiling it? Choni gets hurt somewhere along the line, and his life depends on the Immortus engine, which is another way of saying the power source of the armor, right? It's also a time machine where Tony does not want to end trillions of lives. In fact, he doesn't want to end a life. So he does not want to use the Immortus engine for anything other than keeping himself alive long enough to tackle the Maker. We have Operation Castle, which is a neo-Nazi, again, version of... they followed the Punisher. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. It's not good. It's not good for them. That what happens, especially with Steve, right? Because he never met a Nazi he didn't want to punch. Redescent into Doom, and we get a new definition of the negative zone. Jim Hammond is in it, the original Human Torch, and I thought, well, okay, one more step, name more. And it would be an advantage reunion.
Yeah.
And we get it. We get it. Of sorts. Again, no spoilers. We are taken to heaven in the 7 cities of Kunlun in the immortal weapons of the Hulk. Luke Cage and Danny Rand. Luke more than Danny, but Luke is front and center. But Danny plays his part, right? The Red Skull is in it. Is it the real Red Skull? I don't know. Read it. We get Hand. There's a new Hawkeye that obviously it's weird. There was a one shot. I don't know how. Hopefully they'll bundle it together with a hardcover of the Ultimates. But there was a one shot where the new Hawkeye's name is Charlie, CHLRI, and we get their history. Luke Hand. It plays a big part. HAND. It's an again like Shield, but it stands for something completely different. And there's a Trader in their midst.
Of course.
Yeah, I thought it was really, really, really good. To the point where the cut and paste didn't bother me as much. It does exist. The Wanda and Pietro show up towards the end of it, and they are at first very bad, but Steve manages to coax them over the side of good, and Emma Frost is in as well. So again, nostalgia, right? There's nothing new. It's just all of the characters that we've known since we were children, used in new and hopefully you would think interesting ways. That what can you do at this point, right? What else can you do? I thought it was a worthwhile expenditure of my free time. So the Ultimates by Dennis Camp and Company is worth your time. Now the jury is still out because I have not read Ultimate Wolverine, X-Men, Black Panther. Uh, I think there's 2 one-shots, 1 year later and 2 years later. Uh, the culmination of it's the recently released Ultimate Impact Reborn, because I think the Ultimate Universe is no more. I believe Miles Morales is the one who survives it all. We'll see. We'll see. But it wouldn't make sense because they are not going to let up on the Miles Morales. He exists, and he will continue. He will continue to exist.
As much as you love it, yes.
Yes, yes. So check out The Ultimates by Dennis Camp. And while you're at it, hasn't been announced yet, but I'm sure it will. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Where are you going to go to get your stuff cheaply? Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Yeah, it's right in the name. Again, leave us a review at certain wherever you listen to this. Dab has done an ass-kicking job of making us available everywhere.
Shout out to the people who leave comments on Spotify.
Literally, yeah. Leave us a comment. And last but not least, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/11 o'clock comics. No apostrophe and a 1 for 11.
Boom.
Yeah, we're always there.
What's
3 tiers? You can't screw it up.
The before you go any further, what I found interesting, because I realized I noticed it the other day. Spotify actually breaks it breaks things up into like chapters, so it lets you know that there was the drink roll call and the intro. There was there was a cheap graphic novel spot. There was a and then like some of the topics of what we discussed on. So yeah, I nothing that we did. Their AI, I guess, just decided to.
I was going to say, AI.
Yeah, they pick and choose what I guess.
I don't think it'll be the last you've heard of AI.
I'm being facetious. I'm just saying I don't want.
Yeah.
We have no say in the matter. It's Spotify's
right.
Do what it's going to do.
Yeah.
Chances are good that you wait and just cut and paste. You know, let the AI do the work for you. I'm saying that it sucks to be me, but it would work. In your travels, I'll keep it short and sweet because I don't think this book should be spoiled. I think you should go in not knowing too much about it because it is wonderful. It's a wonderful experience. It's a oversized first issue called If Destruction Be a Lot, ellipsis, written by Andy MacDonald. No, see, that's the point.
Yeah.
That's the part that got me. The
Yep.
art is listed before the writing. What is happening with art by Andy MacDonald, who is listed again first? Crazy, crazy. Matthew and Mark Elijah Rosenberg did the writing.
Yes, the Rosenberg brothers.
You're right.
The Rosenbergs.
Francesco Segala did the colors, and our man Hassan did the letters. Imagine a world without humans, where,
Sounds delightful.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, for the most part, where robots, I don't want to say breathe, populate the planet. What would happen? Well, if you were a regular robot, you would pretty much operate uh, unscathed. The big deal. So human beings have expired. No big whoop. But if you looked like a human, I think you'd have a hard time of it. And that's all I'm going to say if about this issue. I thought it was great. Was it good? Nope. Was it great? Yes. It was great comics. If destruction be unlocked, do not sleep on this issue because Depp can die. And I don't know if Jason read it or not.
I have not. No, I don't. Who publishes it?
Image.
Yeah, it was out this week.
I haven't read it.
Yeah. I,
Oh, it came
I,
out this week?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you should wait. You should pick this up like too sweet because it's gonna go to multiple ratings. I've been wrong. I've been really wrong.
You suddenly sound like a guy who should care about price guides.
No, no. I hate to see people I care about pay more for something that they should.
Aw.
Yeah, but amazing issue. That would you?
It has been a minute since I've seen Andy McDaniel interiors, and I've missed them. McDonald does and he loves drawing the mech. NYC Mech was the anthology that he was behind, that he was part of years ago. Really knows how to draw robots, anything mechanical, and but there's one character in this that is an animatron, but is very outwardly appears human. So I'm sure that may have been fun for. Although, if you read comics, the magazine and the interview there, how I felt about it. But it's a hell of a first issue. Whatever I felt may have been lacking in Of the Earth, the complete opposite for Destruction Bureau lot. There's a lot going on in this first issue, and it may be there may be some pages that are heavy on the dialogue or the word balloons, but it's it all serves a purpose. It's clever, it's witty. Again, it looks great, and yeah, it leaves me with questions. So I got to come back for the next issue. Got to see where we're going with this. It is. I'm not going to say it's a sleeper hit or anything like that, but it wasn't. It's nothing like I expected. I wasn't even looking for something like this, but now that it's out and I've read it, I am I'm glad it's here. I'm just stop short of saying like it's filling a void I didn't know I had, but it's a hell of a first issue. It the Rosenbergs have something here, and by tapping Andy to draw it is be a stroke of genius.
Double sized, it looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a thick it's a thick boy. They
She said.
It's yeah. And the red on that one freaking machine monster man. Yeah, this is yeah. No, Vince is right. Listen to Vince. It's definitely grab it if you can. Um, it's it's definitely recommended, and I think um I will. Yeah, I'll co-sign this on as far as my new travels. Although I do want to mention um, Geiger number 23 because it seems to conclude the arc with the Northerner, uh, and then setting up the next arc with the return of Junkyard Joe, and looks like there's gonna be some hell to pay coming up because the end of issue 23 puts Tariq in a precarious position, and I guess Joe may be the one to save the day. But everything leading up to those last couple of pages, because Tariq was faced with his family briefly at the beginning of this issue, and then almost as quickly pulled away from the family, and is now going a bit batty because he's like, was that my family? Was that real? Is that a universe that exists? That this war never happened? So he's got questions, and apparently the Northerner, after the events from Redcoat and showing up in the future, and hanging with Geiger, everything that Northerner and Tariq were dealing with, we'll say was unauthorized, and the people pulling Northerner strings, this little escapade with Tariq Geiger wasn't authorized, so to speak, and so Tariq's left by himself. But now that he knows there's something more out there, because even the Northerner wasn't able to answer all of his questions, and the people responsible for supplying the Northerner with all of his gear, they're not exactly forthcoming. They just give you exactly enough information that you just need. So they keep their own secrets. And now that Tariq knows that these people exist, that they're out there, he seems to have a new mission in life. So Geiger number 23 was a solid issue. And it was a great little wrapping up one arc, one story, and immediately leading right into the next one, which was a nice touch. And I guess they'll be back in July or so. But yeah, in your travels, aside from Destruction BR Lot number 1, check out Geiger number 23 from our friends at Ghost Machine and Image Comics.
Respect. In your travels, shout out to our good buddy Jefferson for unearthing this a week or so back. He posted in the Slack, looking for a killer Western graphic novel. Check out The Undertaker by Xavier, Dorison, and Ralph Meyer. Tastes like a spaghetti Western. And that prompted many of us, including all three of us, to say, damn, that looks lit. Brian Newbury mentioned that they had actually just discussed it on one of their most recent episodes as well, and he reminded us that it actually was available through Europe Comics, our old friends, digitally a few years ago. But now it's here in physical form, And from what I understand from Peter Fodor, there have been 8 volumes produced in Europe, and this book 1 collects 2 stories, so I'm assuming we'll eventually get 4 volumes of this, but this is book 1. It collects the Gold Eater and Dance of the Vultures arcs. It's published through Abrams Comic Arts, who is doing a great job bringing over some gems. It is exactly as described. It is a fucking incredibly beautifully drawn spaghetti western. And you know, we have said many times we're always in the market for more true western comics, and damned if we don't have another series to enjoy. The titular Undertaker is a character named Jonas Crow. You know, tall, sort of foreboding, badass dude. You know, a fairly typical, I'd say, western hero. And he is, in fact, an Undertaker. He goes around the Wild West, contractually, you know, handling dead bodies, you know, interning them, like getting them ready for burial, or you know, he does everything an Undertaker back in the West. And in this first 2 arcs, he is called to a town to what he first believes to bury like the local gold tycoon named Joe Cusco. But it turns out that Joe Cusco is not in fact dead. Well, then why is he calling an Undertaker? Well, it's because Cusco is dying, and he wants to go out on his own terms, which include eating all of his gold that's made him rich, so that he himself will be buried as a treasure chest, instead of letting his you know, family and other people in his orbit, you know, taking his gold when he dies and having it themselves. So, but it's awesome. It's awesome. Really, really great characters. I know we've all seen Meyer's art in the preview pages Jefferson Post, so we all loved it. But he's, you know, Meyer's very much in that Joe Kubert school. It's just beautiful stuff. I mean, just impeccable art. I mean, he's been around doing European comics for many decades, so it's not like he's a new name out there in the world. But we haven't seen much of his work here, translated into English, and hopefully we see a lot more because he looks incredible. So I loved it, man. Just exactly what I want. You know, just anti-hero. You know, ne'er-do-wells that it's clear who the villains are. There's shootouts. There's action. There's you know, there's ingenues. There's everything that a good Western should have. So props to everybody involved. Abrams, I hope coming in the solicitation pipeline. I will be ordering them with the quickness as soon as I see them solicited. So if you are a fan of Western and have been looking for something to scratch that itch, you can do no better than checking out the.
There you go. Neat. Do yourself a favor and say goodnight. Ellipsis. David.
Good night.
Yep.
Yep.
You heard.
David.
Yeah.
This was quite an O-Rama. This was you had an Ampersand-O-Rama, because there were a ton of ampersands in all the credits this week. Ultimate O-Rama. Fanzine O-Rama. You got Image. Yeah, this was fun. I like this.
Nice.
We should do it again.
We probably should.
We might have something here.
Yeah. We'll be back next time. We love you.
Love y'all.
Goodbye.
Night night.
That's it for that one.